So in last video, we have started with the standard data types in Python. We have completed the number. Now we are going to work with the string. So string is the second type of standard data types in Python. So the string can be defined as a sequence of character represented in the question mark. In Python, we can use a single, double or triple quote to define a string. So in Python, to define a string, we can use single, double or triple quote. So single, double quote, that means we can use the single quote. We can use the double quote like this, or we can use the triple quote as well. For example, like this. Okay, to define a string. So remember that a string is always defined in these three types of quote: single, double and triple. Okay, so these three types of quote are used to define a string. Okay, now let's move to the next part. Okay, so the string handling in Python is a straightforward task since there are various inbuilt function and operators are provided. So in this case, the string in this case of string handling, the operator plus is used. Which operator is used? Plus operator is used. Then to concatenate two string as the operation hello plus Python written the hello Python. So for example, we have a two string that you can see here in double quote, hello string is represented, and then second string is Python. So both these strings are represented using a double quote. And if you want to concatenate, that means we want to add these two words together. So at that time, this plus operators we can use. Okay. Next, the operator star is also known as the repetition operator, as the operation Python into 2 returns the Python. For example, if we define one string Python and we use this star operators and we have used the number 2, that means repeat this string 2 times or write this string 2 times. So these type of work we can use this using this multiplier or star operator. Okay, we will see how to perform these things in Python using Jupyter Notebook. Okay, so this is the following example which illustrate the string handling in Python. So we have a string that is hello Java point, and there's a second string that is how are you. Now this is known as the these two, concatenate and the multiplier. These two things will see how to perform. Okay, so we'll see, we'll open a Python Jupyter Notebook and we'll see. For example, we have a string 1 which represent hi or hello. Okay, then we have a second string which is Python. So if we use a concatenate function, that is string 1 plus string 2, let's see the output. You can see here hello Python is the output that we get. Okay, second, if we have a string 3 which is equal to, for example, Nunal, then we want to multiply this, so we can use simply the star operator. So string multiply it by 4 times. So you can see here Nunal was written 4 times. Okay, so you can see here I have just added the space in this single quote, so I'll get this answer. Okay, similarly, if I add space here and here, I'll get the answer hello Python. Okay, so these two are the string operations. There are some another operation as well. We'll see those operations one by one. Okay, now we'll see the next. So this is a string slicing we can consider here. That is, it is used string and it has given the starting point and the ending point. Okay, before this we need to understand the index operation in Python. Okay, so when we will understand the indexing in Python, we will see these slicing operator as well. Okay, now we are just introducing the concepts, introducing the what is a list, what is a string, what is a number, so that we will understand the meaning of it. We will see these operators later. Okay, so list. So list are similar to the array in C. So however, the list can contain a different data types. Remember this. So we have seen the string, but in string, we have seen that we can only store the character value, right? For example, if we define any string, so we can only save the character value, okay? And for defining string, we need to consider the double quote, single quote, or triple quote. We have seen the integers, we have seen the float, we have seen the long, we have seen the complex. So these are the data types which we use for the to store the numerical value. Okay. Now we are going to talk about the list. So in list, we can add the numeric value as well, or we can consider the string. So two different types of data types we can store in a single list function. Okay. Now to define a list, there is some rules that we need to consider. So always remember that string is always defined by these square brackets. Okay, so to define, as we know that to define a string, we need to use a single quote or double quote. Similarly, to define the list, we need to consider these square brackets. Okay, we need to use. When we use these square brackets, automatically Python will understand this is the string data types. Okay, sorry, this is the list data type. And when we use a double quote, single quote, or triple quote, at that time Python will understand it is a string data type. Okay, so for string we need to consider the quotes, and for list we need to consider the square brackets. Okay, and what is the difference between these two? That string can only store the character value, but list can store the numeric value as well as the characters value. Okay, so we'll see, we'll define one list and we will print that list. Okay, and see, we can use this again, this plus operator, then this multiplier operator to repeat and to add to add to list, or to multiply particular list particular time we can use this star operator. So we'll see how to do that in the Jupyter notebook. For example, I'll define one list is equal to, I can store the numeric value as well, and I can store the characters. So I'll store these characters and numeric value, and now I'll print the list. Okay, so you can see here. Now I can multiply this list, or I can repeat, I can write this string two times. Okay, so you can see here, or I can give it as a some variable as well. For example, a is equal to list multiply by 2. That means you have to, that what it means that these list is repeated 2 times, and I have given a one variable to store the value of the result. Okay, so I'll say print a. Now see, now we have two list, that is a and then list. So I want to add those lists, so I'll print b is equal to list plus a. Okay, now I'll say print b. Always remember that anything before parenthesis is function. So print is one of the functions. So anything which is before the parenthesis is considered as the function in Python. Okay, so we'll see what are the functions and all, but I'll just giving you one tip here. So you can see here, I have added two string. Okay, so these are the some list operators. Now we'll move forward and see the other thing. Now in next video, we will start with the tuples and what are these remaining operator, that is slicing of the list, slicing of the string. We will see in the upcoming videos.